What's the mission now going ahead?
Well, I don't think our mission has changed, Francis. I believe 40% of American potential voters are between 18 and 35. Traditionally, they've voted at half the rate of other Americans. When I started NextGen America 8 years ago, the idea was to have a, a representative democracy across age groups so that, in fact, we'd have the kind of decisions that reflected the broad will of Americans. And in particular, young people are not just the biggest generation in American history, they're the most diverse generation in American history, and they're most progressive Americans. So for the last 8 years, it's been the goal of NextGen to try and make sure that they are registered, engaged, and that their voices are heard because they're really important voices. And that's something that absolutely had a profound impact in 2018. It had a profound impact in 2020, and I expect it to have a profound impact going forward.
Do you believe it's going to be harder to keep people mission focused without the immediacy and drama of an election in the immediate future?
Well, I think that from a political standpoint, elections always raise the temperature and draw people's attentions. But one of the things that we believe about grassroots is that it's important to be there 12 months a year. And in particular, when you think about climate and justice, these are issues that are front and center in America right now. They were front and center in the presidential campaign. And I expect in 2021, those issues, which are absolutely critical to young voters, will continue to be at the center of the American debate.
So, what would your advice be? What are the top three policy objectives for this incoming administration?
Well, look, this administration made a clear commitment in the Biden Harris campaign to climate. They made a clear commitment to justice, and they made a clear commitment to addressing the pandemic. So, I think that in the campaigns are important because they really speak to what the priorities are of the people running. And I think it's very clear what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were standing for. And I think that they're going to address it's going to be a question, the old political cliche, you've got to be able to walk and chew gum. I think that there are going to be at least those three absolutely critical priorities. They're going to have to happen, from day one. And it's clear that the Biden Harris administration will be addressing them and not just addressing them separately. I think one of the critical points about this campaign was the recognition, for instance, that climate is not just about climate, that every sector of government impacts climate, that in fact, addressing climate means also creating millions of good paying union jobs, that addressing climate also means specifically addressing and redressing the issues around environmental justice and the pollution that's disproportionately concentrated in underserved Black and Brown communities. So I think what we're going to see is not just siloed policy responses, but in fact, responses that cut across sectors and different departments of the government to address underlying issues that are inherently connected and can only be addressed together.